And we're back. You guys have been running in with a lot of super chats. Quite a few people want to know about the Nemesis system. CJ Splitson writes in and says, "Is Nemesis system dead and dusted?" And Buses and Bridges writes in and says, "Does the Nemesis system patent they held dissolve?" I doubt
I
it
think
dissolves.
Warner Brothers holds it, right? Because they had, Warner Brothers would have been the one with copyright because they had Monolith to begin with. So no, they still have that. And talk about what a wasted goddamn thing. One of the best systems in a video game in the last 15 years. Explain it, because they haven't made a fucking video game.
That's the thing.
It's so long. And the people who were talking about the Nemesis probably don't know what it was. They don't remember this.
That's the thing is we're talking about a system that came out 11 years ago, so I'm a little dusty as well. But it was basically a system to where enemies would remember you, and there would be persistent storylines that would happen as far as
you'd lop off an orc's arm, and then hours later that orc would return with a metal arm and be like, "I remember you, meatbag."
And if an orc killed you, it would then rise in the ranks. You would go to a screen that would show you all the rankings of the orcs and kind of who's king, who's leader, who's this, who's that, right? And the higher they rank up, the more powerful they are, and
you could convince one of them to
fight another one,
to kind of infiltrate and become kind of your homie or whatever, and all of it just having that sort of remembrance, and they would pop up later on and try to fight you later on, and maybe they are doing real bad because the last time you fucked them up, they're just super depressed and they're just crashing out.
Man,
but sometimes they rise
this anymore.
Yeah, it was awesome. It worked really, really great for that game. Do I think it would have been the perfect match for Wonder Woman? I don't think so. But the fact that was that we know of the only game using it, the only game that had tried to use it, and the only game I guess we haven't seen it since 2017, since Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Insane.
What a waste. I don't know if it was completely true, but somebody said in the chat that, Spam says the Nemesis patent expires in 2036. I don't know how true that is.
I don't know patent law like that.
We'll be underwater by then, so who cares?
But you can always renew a patent, can't you? I think it's up for renewal.
Could you imagine? I could because business, right? But
they're gonna renew it.
If I see a website in 2036 when I am
living
41 years old,
living under a bridge,
I check my phone and I see an art. It's from Wario 64. That is WB renews the Nemesis system. I'm going to war. I'm picking up a pickaxe.
That's all. That's what it is.
I'm knocking on David Zaslav's door. You did what?
Interesting wrinkle here that I just saw on Blue Sky as I'm watching people react to all this stuff, right? Nick Verge, of course, just a Pop Agenda co-founder with my wife, responds to Jason Schreier, WB Montreal escaped this? ? How? That's another good point of when's the other shoe drop? Are they going to get rid of Montreal as well? Because
does NetherRealm ever get closed? When all this video game
you can't close NetherRealm.
I mean, can you not?
If you're closing NetherRealm and you're WB Interactive, you're out of the gaming business.
Yeah,
and even then,
are they out of the business? This feels like the transition, right? This feels like them trying to maybe lean up to either sell these things off or go, we just can't support these things anymore, and we're too stubborn to allow somebody to buy NetherRealm and also buy the Mortal Kombat IP from us because we want to keep the IP. Maybe we can do merch. Maybe we can do movies. If they want to keep that IP, then I think NetherRealm is at risk. I don't think people are buying NetherRealm without Mortal Kombat.
I guess when I think of WB Montreal, I don't. You go with your point first.
It's real quick.
Yeah.
If that's happening and they're selling without and it's all going to close up, Epic buys them.
Epic buys NetherRealm.
You get a fighter inside Fortnite. Not fatalities, obviously, but take all that. Jonesy versus fucking every other skin they got out there in the same way.
Sounds disgusting. I was gonna say, can they
You'd
make
be a fucking sicko playing it and join that at Evo?
Here's the thing.
You'll be 41 at Evo playing NetherRealm is Fortnite.
My thing with the NetherRealm thing is NetherRealm is so talented as a studio, right? Obviously, they can make great fighting games. However, Mortal Kombat, half the appeal to Mortal Kombat is the violence, right? Mortal Kombat is usually, I think, the better selling fighting game because of the gimmick of tearing things apart, the blood, the
ribs
fatalities, the ribs. That's what Mortal Kombat is. Of course, they made Injustice. Injustice isn't as violent as Mortal Kombat, but I think Mortal Kombat is the thing that allows NetherRealm to live and breathe in the way they do. Even if they make a Fortnite fighting game, I just don't see it taking them that far. Great. I think they put it out the door, they get it out the door, but I think it falls in the line of rocket racing and the
Lego
the rhythm,
the Guitar Hero thing that they did in Fortnite. I think it ends up being one of those, and then eventually NetherRealm is just not to be heard from again.
You said if they're getting rid of these 3 studios, it seems like they're getting out of it anyway, right? I'm on the Wikipedia. You're looking at subsidiaries, right? Avalanche Software, number 1. Monolith Productions, number 2, dead, right? So we'll just strike it. NetherRealm now number 2. Player First Games, dead. Strike it from the record. So Avalanche, NetherRealm.
Are these ordered in a specific way?
Just down. I'm just reading off the Wikipedia page, sadly. So active Avalanche, NetherRealm, Portkey Games, Rocksteady Studios, TT Games. Then we get into the WB Games of cities, right? That I'm not super familiar with. Where you got WB Games Montreal. The synopsis says known for its massive online.
They were Batman, right?
Multiplayer.
Gotham Knights.
No, that's Montreal.
Yeah, that's what you just said.
I'm sorry, Boston. I'm sorry. I'm on WB Games Boston. My apologies. Who are known for their MMO, Asheron's Call, Dungeons and Dragons Online, Lord of the Rings Online. Then Montreal, of course. New York game or WB New York, which is looks like it's helping them with web-based communities. Not a real thing. San Diego and San Francisco don't even have it, right? So what? Avalanche, NetherRealm, Portkey, Rocksteady, TT Games, Boston, Montreal.
Oh, they're done.
That's 7 more studios, and if I'm a betting man, TT Games is done.
Yeah, that's the Lego studio.
And their whole leadership team left, and I've heard, I don't even know I'm going to right-click on this one. I don't even know what TT Games is doing, because the leadership left, and they went and made that Abomination Funko game.
They're not going to make a Pharrell Lego game?
Dude, I would play the fuck out of a Pharrell Lego game. You run into the clips. Pusha T drops another diss track to Drake in it. But it's all referencing Legos.
The reason why I am not surprised that, or I guess for me, I would think that you drop all of the news today. I don't think that Montreal gets another news drop in a week and a half or 2 weeks from now.
But my thing is this, as we've seen time and time again with these kind of these kind of financial things, is no one ever just gives up. No one ever just says it's over. They say, oh, fuck, we're continuing to lose money, and so we are going to knock out these 3 studios to get back this amount of budget and this whatever, and then it'll be another 6 months, 9 months of the TT Games, according to Wikipedia, hasn't published anything since 2022. So it's like, where are they with this? Montreal, obviously, Gotham Knights, and then this weird, we tried to make a Flash, we tried to make a Constantine.
The thing is, how far do you get with those studios that you just mentioned?
How far do you get with them?
Like, as WB Games, right? Like,
again, I think you're trying to sell. And so I understand we're not there, right? So who knows? But I think when you're like, if you're trying to sell this, we have TT Games. They made those Lego games. We have WB Montreal. They made Batman Arkham Origins and Gotham Knights, which you don't remember, but it's got Gotham in the title. It sounds, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's that thing to it, where eventually you pare it down to where I would say probably it would end up at the very last thing. You'd have, I guess, Portkey, based on what they've done with the other one, Rocksteady and
Avalanche.
Avalanche.
Yeah, Avalanche. I would think.
NetherRealm.
Yeah, no. I would say because Rocksteady, I don't think is long for this world, just based off of Suicide Squad.
I think they're there till the bitter end.
You think so?
Yeah. No.
So.
Suicide Squad, I think you're able to go, especially trying to sell. Suicide Squad, you look at and you go, well, that was a dumb decision. Why did they do this? Live service pass. Again, so many studios have died because of trying to bet on live service that I think Rocksteady, we talk about all the time, whenever it is, Rocksteady's the rumors of a new Batman single player game, people get excited. Whether but people aren't there, it's a different thing.
Because my thing is anybody can make a Batman, right? I know that's
anybody can be a Batman.
Sacrilege to say, but when we're talking about Rocksteady, we're talking about a studio that before they made Suicide Squad, their last game was, well, we just corrected this. It was 2016 with the VR Batman,
right? Hell yeah,
right? When we were talking about their last flat screen game, as the streets call it, you're talking about Batman Arkham Knight that came out in 2015. So you're talking about a studio that hasn't put out a successful, I don't want to say normal because normal sounds mean to VR, but a successful normal game for a decade. And they're right now probably on the precipice of starting their next project. That's how long? 4 years away, 5 years away. So we're talking 15 years before the studio makes something that's successful for us again. No, get them out of here. Like, that's where I'm at.
If I'm trying to hold on,
Avalanche,
if I'm trying to hold on to sell, it's about cachet.
Yeah,
they're fucking you're getting headlines off Flappy Bird coming back with nobody originally connected to it. It's just some Ponzi scheme, but it's like people loved Flappy Bird. Rocksteady's making a single player Batman game. People would pop.
Return to their roots.
We've sold them to whoever, and Rocksteady's making a single player TMNT, single player, whatever Daredevil game. Which, come on, you know what I mean? Like, come the fuck on. If I was Marvel Games and this happened, they don't own studios, so it doesn't really work, but convince someone to buy Rocksteady and then be like, make a Daredevil game.
Get Colin Farrell to play Bullseye again. Oh man,
Finger in his hole.
Bullseye.
Jesus. We have, of course,
Gotta watch that Ben Affleck. It's a good
movie.
It's a good one.
What if I told you that he's on an airplane, right? And he's on an airplane flying somewhere. Bullseye, Colin Farrell, he's bald, psycho guy. There's an old lady next to him who keeps on yapping, talking his ear off on this airplane.
About her grandkids, she's nice.
Yeah, he's really, really good at aiming stuff. That's why he's Bullseye,
He's a
right?
bullseye.
Yeah.
He's so annoyed by her.
Bullseye.
He's holding a little peanut from the airline snack, and he holds it. When you flick a football.
Yeah.
But he flicks the peanut off of like the front screen or off the front chair in front of her on the airplane. And it goes into her throat. She chokes and she dies. He kills her, and then he just
awesome.
he's like, no, she's asleep. This guy's psycho. It's a good movie.
Y'all watch Daredevil season 3?
Yeah, a long time ago though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where I learned about Bullseye, and I'm like, he's a fucking sick ass character. I
Cool
love
guy,
it.
yeah,
yeah.
cool
I
bring
mean,
him back.
Colin Farrell, the definitive
Yeah, that's
live
the one.
action version.
That's my Bullseye.
This episode is brought to you by me, Greg Miller. Chicago, what are you doing Thursday, April 10th at 7 p.m.? The answer? Coming to my live show. That's right, Mrs. Miller's baby boy is coming back to Chicagoland and putting on a 90-minute, one-night-only show live from the Goodwin Auditorium at Benedictine University in Lisle. I'm mixing a bit of Up at Noon with a bit of my best Comic-Con performances with a lot of my Chicago influences. I'm calling it a late night with Greg Miller, and it's going to offer never-before-heard adolescent tales, an interview with one of my favorite bands of all time, a conversation with Millie Ramsey about growing up in the internet spotlight, your live questions for me, and of course, tons of fabulous video game prizes. Get your tickets now at kindafunny.com/Chicago. And hey, Midwest people, we never do shows out there, so this is your chance to see a Greg Miller stage show. Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. We always talk about how we love to drive as Midwest people, so hit the road for an opportunity you may never get again. This is a fundraiser for Benedictine University. That's right, my childhood best friend Poe's school. So get your tickets now at kindafunny.com/Chicago, and I'll see you on April 10th. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's always important for us to be aware of a relationship red flags we should avoid. But what if we focused more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself. Some of our best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who have experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, and it serves over 5 million people worldwide. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/kindafunny to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny. BetterHelp.com/kindafunny.
Jam Van writes in with a super chat and says, really cool that there are so many people formerly at Monolith who now have 7 to 8 year holes in their resume because the Wonder Woman game is never going to see the light of day. And the sucky thing is, this is part of what game development is nowadays as well. As far as like long projects that take forever to get out, and a lot of them just don't come out.
Now, we've gone this far into the show. We've gone through the ad break. You're into super chats. I still haven't gotten it.
Oh, Greg was right, everybody.
Can I get my pat on the back?
Greg was right.
You know what I mean? I'm not the rumor monger. I'm not the guy who goes out there and says all this stuff. But I was SGF this year. My hand was forced in 2024, and
It's a good time to just announce or re-show Wonder Woman.
Remember when
Show
Mike
something.
worked here?
Show something, yeah. Show signs of life.
I don't know. Here you go. You want it? You want the exclusive?
Greg.
I'll give you my Jeff Grubb information. All right.
Oh.
In the past year, because I'll leave it ambiguous, I have talked to an insider who was like, "This game's troubled." That's it. That's
Wonder
all I'll
Woman.
say. Yeah.
How
was on
long?
the one.
When was this?
That was SGF.
Wow. Believe Greg.
Believe
he
me,
says things.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong.
You're right this time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't say something unless I'm incredibly confident about it.
Yeah.
And I was incredibly confident based off that conversation I had that, oh no, this isn't good. And I think it was more in line. My conversation was more in line with the, and I'm feeling, I did not know the specifics. I think it's in line with, they were doing the Nemesis thing, got pulled off, just do an action RPG, or action game. This isn't working. I think that's where I was getting information.
Speaking of Wonder Woman, there was a super chat that I lost that I was going to bring about WB. Oh, here we go. Dan V900 writes in and says, WB has no faith in Wonder Woman as a character. The Jessica Cruz and Starfire animated series were just announced. The fact that those characters get series before Wonder Woman and there's never been a Wonder Woman series is insane. First of all, don't throw shade at Starfire. Right?
Or Jessica Cruz.
Yeah, like come on, the Teen Titans. We fuck with the Teen Titans over here. But I mean, how do you feel about how WB feels about Wonder Woman as a character? Do you think that this was writing on the wall partly because of that?
I thought it was an interesting choice for sure when they announced we're doing a Wonder Woman game. Like when we got this teaser trailer at Game Awards, right? I was like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. I would have thought for sure we would get a Superman game before a Wonder Woman game based on Superman being a big deal and Wonder Woman being part of the Trinity. I'm not, but like. Wonder Woman is even as me as a DC fanboy, right? As a fucking ride or die. Wonder Woman is such an interesting character, such an interesting Trinity member. Mm-hmm. She moves merch. I see the backpacks, I see the water bottles, I see the stuff. Ben's got a bunch of Wonder Woman stuff, right? But I don't feel like Wonder Woman has the fan base that's like, I'm about the lore. You know what I mean? Like I know all the, like, you know, you sit down and talk to me about Superman, it's fucking 30-hour conversation. I'm asking you, Batman's the same way. Wonder Woman, I feel like
I don't know any of the other side. Like I don't think of Commissioner Gordon. You know,
exactly right. And I feel like even with
comparing Wonder Woman to Commissioner Gordon is hilarious.
Oh no! I'm saying like I don't like when I think of Wonder Woman. And this is me, very limited knowledge from comic books. But when I think of Batman, I can name you a million side characters.
Oh,
and even the same for kind of Superman. But with Wonder Woman, I don't really know who else exists there.
Did you know she had a pet kangaroo?
No.
There you go. I mean, there was Pedro Pascal. That's a side character.
Cheetah.
Your life's good.
Cheetah.
But it could be great, but it could be better.
Could be better.
And that's the thing where it's like, I think there was a lot of hope the movies would really become that definitive. This is what, but I mean, people enjoyed those movies, but I still don't think people base their entire interpretation of who she is off of that. I still think Linda Carter's probably a bigger Wonder Woman than Gal is in terms of pop culture. And so it's a weird push and pull of it where that on one side I think is exciting of, if I'm Monolith and I'm going to sit down and make a Wonder Woman game, it really is to a degree carte blanche. Okay, cool. There isn't a sacred thing here, right? Where it's like Superman is to me like, well, the fuck is Jonathan Kent alive? Are we doing this? You know, Batman, he can't fucking use a gun, otherwise people are gonna flip the fuck out.
You just fly everywhere you want, and you're just super fast.
Which of course Wonder Woman also is. So it's like, you know, I was very excited about a Wonder Woman game because like whatever, but it's the same argument people have against Superman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is a weird one for me because I think I'm with you as far as, I don't really know people who are deep in the Duffy of Wonder Woman's my character and this is all her stories and like all this stuff, right? Like, you know, I watched Arrow, like a fuckload of Arrow, right? And like, I could tell you a ton more about Arrow than I can about Wonder Woman.
And let's just kick it off. We can just expand this from fuck Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment to fuck Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers who were like, oh, well, we can't have a Batman show on TV because we're making Batman movies. Oh, fucking Tom Welling can't put the Superman suit on because we're making Superman movies. All those movies fucking sucked.
Yep.
You fucked it up for an entire goddamn generation not to have your marquee heroes. Instead, you got little fucks like Blessing who know everything about Arrow. And you're doing jack shit with that information.
I know so much about Arrow.
like what a fucking blowback.
Arrow,
you
man.
are the stupidest mother.
You deserve this.
Put the dunce cap on and go sit in the corner. And I wish that's how it worked. I wish the people who deserved this had to deal with the ramifications. But they're, as usual, the people at the top with these fucking golden parachutes and getting $1 gajillion. And it's not the people who are like, all right, man, Stephen Amell, how can you do this? You know what I mean? Can you make this happen? Fucking Grant Gustin. Like he had a great conversation with Michael Rosenbaum on Inside of You the other day about like talking about like
Inside of You is the name of the podcast.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum. Well, you know,
Michael Rosenbaum podcast.
Michael Rosenbaum's a big goof. Okay. That's why he fits in so with us. And his show is called Inside of You. Well, I don't think he ever thought it would get as popular as it is because it is. But it also that's Mike. Anyways, though. A great conversation about like
Mike. He's his cousin.
Look at this guy.
You want me to call him right now? I'll call him right now. It's a great conversation about like, were you over? You know, what was your contract? Were you over being on? And it's like, of course, like. 22 episodes. We got to pad all this stuff. He's like, it's all science. Like, there's so much gobbledygook, you know, like like scientific conversations that you're having. It's like, that's a lot to wrap your head around to memorize and do, let alone the hours. You know, it's like, you just, and like the Flash TV show is such a better version of the Flash than the fucking movies.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like, again, I have no choice but, of course, to be super excited for the Superman movie. I believe in James Gunn. I think it's a breath of fresh air, yada, yada. But the whole thing there is also that's what killed Superman and Lois, right? Same fucking decision of, well, it's going to be confusing. Yeah. Well, if this movie fucking sucks, you just fucked up a TV show that people really liked. And I don't know how financially successful it was for you, but it's like, it was like, how do you put Superman on TV? Oh, you put him in Smallville and really focus on him being a dad and make it really compelling content. And Lois has got cancer, and this is happening here, and this is got like, we're gonna do like actual emotional shit with it rather than it be about punching everything. I don't fucking know,
I mean,
man.
right now you're making me think of like a Superman Telltale game, right? Or like, what if we went the full Marvel games route?
And this is the thing, dude.
Out?
And this is
that was always Greg's pitch.
It's
like,
always been my pitch.
You have to bring him down to earth and like not have this free open world, go wherever you want, kill whatever you want. It's like, no,
it doesn't need to be Spider-Man. Like,
and
this
is what foundation. We could do and be if someone could grab the wheel over there. And I just don't know if that's possible, where the problem is, X, Y, and Z. And that's why the joke video that I put up of like, get me and James Gunn. I'm not gonna tell James anything he doesn't know, except maybe these are good developers. It'd be cool if you worked with them. Here's how I could see it. You know what I mean? Like whatever. It would just be the idea though of like Marvel games. It's interesting. There's a Greg way I'm sitting on because I need to think about it more. But it was a question of like, how do you feel about Marvel games right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I've said for years, they've got the right idea. Like, rather than like, hey, we're Sega, we're licensing Iron Man, and we're making these people, like, we're Marvel games. We will work with people for a game-by-game basis, maybe multiple games on a contract, but we will find talented creators and give them the IP to go play with, rather than us do this WB thing and own and operate a studio where suddenly it's been 15 years since you made a fucking game. What the hell? You can't cut and run, or you can, but you fuck up, 500 people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's the output in what Marvel games has been doing lately is a conversation. I think there's a lot of, again, where is Marvel Ultimate Alliance for? Why not do this, that, like, whatever. And Wolverine and Spider-Man, I think they could be doing more, but maybe they don't oversaturate, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Long and short of it, that's what DC should be doing as well.
Yeah.
DC should just be saying, hey, you make great stuff, pitch us your ideas for fucking DC games.
At the very least, with the Marvel thing, you get things out the door, right?
Yeah.
Like, I look at Guardians of the Galaxy as a video game, and like that game came out, I'll probably say it's a solid, depending on who you are, like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 game. But at the very least, sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy from Eidos Montreal? Eidos Montreal, right? Like,
that game rocked.
At the very least, it came out the door, and guess what? A lot of people like that game, and it worked for what it is. I'm thinking right now about a Green Arrow game that I never got, right? Of like, if DC was doing the DC, like the Marvel games thing of, hey, let's license things out, let's listen to ideas, let's do all that stuff. Yeah. Like, I think you could get so many different interesting ideas to the point you're making. And in fact, I will pitch a Gamescast for whenever this is maybe not as insensitive to do. I don't think we can do it this week, but like
games that should have died.
Yeah. No, but more so like, all right, you are taking WB games and you're doing the Marvel games thing. What are the 8 games that you're greenlighting for a 4-year period? That's a great topic.
No, I don't think that's too quick.
Like, I think that should be
again, people need to be vocal of like, you're the ones fucking this up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and again, this isn't a reflection on the developers, obviously. And maybe it isn't. We're not talking about them being the problem. We know that there's a million things going on in it, but it's just like, the whole thing is insane that like there's so many examples of this, but it all goes back to your fucking, what is the WB thing now? It's WB Discovery, whatever. There's so much Discovery corporate Max. Goddamn bullshit in there that again, you're a line item on a thing, and guess what? When the film division underperforms and you underperform, somebody's got to go, and it's like, this is the whole fucking problem with these corporations owning everything and everybody getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed.